Good morning. This is your second lesson, so lesson 2 on geometry. It is Monday, May 11th. So your other video was lesson 1, and we had to split it into 2 parts. This is your lesson 2. So I'm going to go ahead and share. You just need all the same activities and materials out. And we're going to start with our hold on, I got to find my camera. There we go. We're going to start with our vocabulary. So we had a few more words to add, and it was all the different names for the shapes. Most of this should be reviewed because I believe all the names are the same, or they introduced them in 4th grade. So remember, our standard today is classifying, naming, describing polygons, closed, straight shapes, and then also classifying, naming, describing triangles, and that's what we're going to work on in a minute. So we need about 6 new vocab words on our list. So we have triangles, and I'm just gonna, we have quadrilaterals. That just means the same word. I'm not gonna rewrite it. We have pentagons, which is 5 sides. We have hexagons, which are 6. I know these are supposed to look like they're closed. Heptagon, which is 7. Open or closed, I mean regular or irregular, have to be closed. And then octagon. There's also a decagon. So 8 sides and 10 sides. And then today, our new word we're going to be focusing on is angles. And that's the measure of an angle. And we're just going to show our picture today. That's how we write it in geometry terms. And if we had a triangle that was A, B, C, we would say something like angle A. All right, and it's measured in degrees. All right, we'll get into the names. There's 3 different names for those angles, but we're going to get into that tomorrow. All right, so please open to page 906. You don't have any warm-ups because it was all for one day. Your warm-up should have been completed earlier. But I did ask you to make sure you have these 2 questions done when we did our last lesson video. So explain why every square is a regular polygon. So first off, what is the definition of a regular shape? Equal sides and equal angles. And what is the definition of a polygon? Straight lines, no holes, and no crossing lines. So we're going to draw a square. It's supposed to be a square. It wasn't a very good one. Does it have straight lines? Yes. Does it have no holes? Yes. Does it have no crossings? Yes. The next one we need to do is regular. Does it have equal sides? Yes. Does it have equal angles? Remember the right angles? Yes. So it is both regular and a polygon. How can polygons be considered a subcategory of two-dimensional figures? And we said polygons have two or three or more straight sides. So our first polygon we've learned is a triangle. Can you think of a flat or 2D image that does not have straight sides? Sure. A circle, an oval, a cone. That's an ice cream cone. So there are other shapes that are part of your two-dimensional that do not have straight sides. There's also two-dimensional shapes that cross each other. So these are all examples of other 2D shapes that are not polygons. All right, so for our last lesson today, and remember, if you wanted some extra practice, you were going to work on your homework or watch your brain pop video. The brain pop video is mostly for measuring with protractors and angles, so this will be the one you're going to want to watch. All right, so I have your protractor out here. This is probably the hardest part. So our standard is I can classify, describe, and analyze shapes, all shapes, including triangles and all different polygons. I'm going to come down here. Your first thing you need to make sure is that your protractor, and that's what this tool is called. I'm going to add it to our list and we'll define it tomorrow. Is that you have the numbers where you read them from 0 to 10. So I want you to see what happens when you flip it over. See how all the numbers are backwards. So the very first thing you need to do is make sure that you turn it over. Okay, so at the bottom is a ruler. The ruler is in US customary. It's in inches. Notice that it starts here at 0. Remember, we don't count this beginning part. You have to start at the 0, start with the first line. And then there's two ways that you can measure. So if your angle is pointed that direction, you always start at 0 and count the numbers up, just like on a number line. This is just an arced number line. But if your angle is pointed this direction, notice that the numbers on the inside count up here. And 0 would actually be on the line. So the line is considered 0, just like over here, the line is considered 0. So you never want to start at a big number and count down. You always want to find whichever way is pointing. You need to start at 0. All right, so let's take a couple of, find some paper. You're going to want to get some paper out too. So if you don't have any, press pause and grab some paper. All right. So we're going to start with mine. I'm just going to draw a little circle. Use my ruler. You don't need to draw anything. You're just watching. I'm going to draw another little circle. But this time I'm going to point my line the opposite direction. All right. So the very first thing you do when you're measuring with the protractor is see where the two lines, these are actually called rays. They're not lines because they don't go to infinity left and right. They're not segments because this one keeps going. It's half a line. And half a line has an endpoint and an infinity. So two rays make an angle. And we're going to find this little circular part or hole in the middle of our protractor, and we're going to set that, and it has to be flat, so I'm going to get my other paper out of the way. Set that exactly on the circle, and then I'm going to push this up or down so that my bottom of my angle is on the 0 line. This is our 0. So this one starts at 0. Now remember, I have to find the 0. So this over here says 180. So I'm not going to use this set of numbers. I get to use the numbers that start with 0. All right. So each one of these little lines is like 1. So 10, 20, 30. So 1 through 2 through 3, 4, 5 through 6 through 7, 38. 38, and then we write degrees. Same thing on this one. What's our first step? We put our circle on top of the hole, or the hole on top of the circle. We hold it down, so if you hold with this hand, you're going to rotate this. See how I got off a little bit? That's not good. That's not good. It's got to be right on top. I'm on 0. So now I'm going to find where it says 0, and it says 0 now on the outside set of numbers. This number is 180. So I'm going to count up 10, 20, 30, 40. And if you ever can't see where it hits, this is what you're going to do. If you can't see on your protractor, you're just going to extend your line. See how I just made it longer? Now watch. That lined up. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 4, 7, 48, 49. 49 degrees. All right, so let's give it a practice. You're going to need to rip your pages out of your book on this one for sure. Now, all these different angles have names, but first off, we're just going to learn how to measure. All right, so we are on lesson 2, which is page 909. We're going to start just by measuring. So these just want you to measure the sides. You can either use your brown ruler, you can cut off this ruler, or you can use your protractor. Just remember, when you're measuring, you're going to put your protractor at 0. All right, so this one is 1 inch and 1, 2, 3 tenths of the next inch. Because if I was to count, well, let's make sure, because this one's fourths. I think we should, well, oh, we're doing centimeters. We're going to have to get our other ruler out. All right. My bad. I should have known we needed a better ruler. All right, so I have my centimeters. Remember, the ones that look like the size of your finger is an inch. Remember, the tip of your finger is a centimeter. So make sure you find the side that says centimeter. We're going to line it up on the 0. Miss Dunnigan really needs her glasses for this. And we are exactly 3 centimeters. We're going to move it over. And it is exactly 3 centimeters. So what kind of triangle is this? All the sides and angles are congruent. It's regular. It's a regular triangle. All right, let's do this one. We have 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Oops. So 3.5. This should be reviewed from 4th grade and also from our measurement unit. 3.5. That can't be right.